it's day 3 of P3!
Hey, you're a poet and you didn't know it.
Actually, I did know it.
Know what?
That I'm a poet.
You are?
Yes, I have a great number of poems I have written.
That's great. Can I hear some?
Of course you can, but just remember that poetry is sometimes hard to understand.
Oh, yes. I understand. Lay one on me.
Oh, rose, with your petals and thorns, how I long to touch you, but I dare not.
Oh, is that it?
Yes, deep, isn't it? Your silence makes me realize how deep it is and how hard to interpret or understand.
No, that's not the reason for my silence. I understand it pretty well.
Oh, really? Well, what do you think it means?
Well, you see a rose that is pretty and you want to pluck it to keep, but you can't because the thorns would poke you and hurt. So the rose to you is an image of danger, and that can come with beauty and how we can never capture ourselves, the beauty of what God has created. It can only be experienced with our eyes and remembered in our minds, but never quite as vivid as our first experience with such true beauty. Your silence tells me I nailed it.
Yes, that is, exactly the depth with which I wrote it. I definitely was not just making up a poem on the spot about a flower with thorns.
Back to P3 Live. Wasn't yesterday great?
Yes, it was. I love the story about how Martha and Mary found their own way to follow Jesus.
Right, and I learned it's so important to listen and to serve Jesus. I cannot do just one or the other.
So true, D. What is the story for today? Any hints?
I can give you a hint, but it might be a little fishy.
Fine, then don't give me a hint if you don't want to.
No, Eva, that's the hint.
What is the hint?
It might be a little fishy.
What might be a little fishy?
The story today. The story might be a little fishy. That's the hint.
Oh, I get it. Then the story today is obviously about Jonah and the big fish.
Wrong.
Then give me another hint.
Only one more and it will be in poetry form.
Excellent. I got this one then.
To quote one of the greats, 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. Bye, kids.
Wait, come back. I need another hint. Bye, kids.
Hey, I'm Chef Jan here with you again on Wednesday. Hey, boys and girls, I'm Chef Judy, and we're ready to cook with you one more day, and then tomorrow's our last day, so hope you're going to join us. Let me get my apron ready to go here, and then we'll be ready to start. What we're going to do today is some watermelon kebabs, and they are really yummy, so you're going to love this. We need a watermelon.
Okay, we have a watermelon and a small one. And then we're going to
We need a melon baller and some
baller.
bamboo skewers.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to cut the watermelon, because how else could you get into the
We're
watermelon?
going to cut it, and we did. And doesn't it look good? Doesn't it look good? Mm-hmm.
All right, then we're going to make some of the balls and stick them on the end of this.
And then just stick it on like your people probably do the meat at your house.
Hey, Chef Jan,
Yes.
when do you go at red and stop at green?
Don't know.
When you're eating a watermelon, of course.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that. It was green when I started, wasn't
was.
it? Yes.
But when you get to this green part, you stop eating.
Oh, okay, I will. I'll stop digging out. This is fun. And then if I wasn't doing this for y'all, I'd probably take a bite every once in a while out of this, because it looks
okay to do
so
a bite
good.
anyway.
Looks so good. Okay, I put about 5. Let's put another one on there just to have plenty for our snack.
Okay, while she's finishing up, we're going to place these on like a baking sheet. You can put some parchment paper over it and put them in the freezer.
Okay,
And leave
we've
them.
got our freezer here.
Probably overnight would be best.
Ooh, okay, look at here.
So,
It's going to be
in the
so good. So, ding, 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 ding. Overnight to next day.
Oh,
Here
did
we
y'all
go.
sleep well?
Oh, look. It's all frozen. It's not
Let's
moving.
just take a bite and
Take
see.
a bite. Take a bite.
Oh, maybe it won't come
It's all
off.
frozen. It's all frozen.
Hmm.
So this
That
is
is
so
great.
easy. Anybody can do this. So let's try this without us being here to show you. It's so easy.
All right, we're going to have one more in just a moment.
Thank you.
Welcome, it's day 3 of P3, and today we are going to be playing a game called the fishing trip, and we're going to all come up with different items we would take on a fishing trip. You have to remember the items that were said before you, and if you don't remember or if you say them out of order, then you will be out of the game. Last person standing will be the winner. Here we go.
All right, I'm going on a fishing trip and I'm taking snacks.
I'm going on a fishing trip and I'm taking snacks and peanut butter.
I'm going on a fishing trip and I'm bringing marbles. Good, for a second round I said that. Nah,
There you go.
sorry,
Snacks.
but you're out.
Snacks.
Snacks and
What did Mom say?
peanut butter
And what else?
and Coke.
Okay.
I'm going on a fishing trip. I'm bringing snacks, peanut butter, Coke, and Dr. Pepper.
I'm going on a fishing trip and I'm bringing snacks. Dog food?
Wrong.
Oh, I'm out.
I'm going on a fishing trip and I'm taking snacks, peanut butter, Coke, and Dr. Pepper, and Ellie.
I'm going on a fishing trip and I am going to bring snacks. I'm going to bring snacks.
Running out of time.
I'm going on a fishing trip and I'm going to bring snacks, peanut butter, Coke, Dr. Pepper, and me
And what else?
and Evie.
And Evie. Go.
I'm bringing on a fishing trip and snacks, peanut butter, Coke, and Dr. Pepper, and me and
Oh. I'm sorry. Out of order. Ellie came before Evie.
All right. I'm going on a fishing trip and I'm taking snacks, peanut butter, Coke, Dr. Pepper, Ellie, Evie, and a boat.
I'm going on a fishing trip. I'm going to bring snacks, peanut butter, Dr. Pepper, Coke, Dr. Pepper, me, Evie, the boat, and an umbrella.
I'm going on a fishing trip and I'm taking snacks, peanut butter, sweet tea.
There's no sweet tea.
Are
Yeah.
you sure? I'm pretty sure there's sweet tea in there.
No. Ellie's our winner. Okay, guys, don't forget that Peter returned back to fishing after Jesus' death and resurrection, but Jesus had much bigger plans for him. Have a good evening. Bye.
Hey everyone, welcome back to day 3 of P3. I'm Molly.
I'm Stacy.
And this is Roberto. Okay, so we're going to be doing 3 songs again. Jesus Loves Me, like we've been doing every day this week. We're also doing Jesus in Your Boat and Fruit of the Spirits. So, y'all ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Okay. Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong. They are weak, but he is strong. Singing na 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 na. Hey! Na 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 na. Huh! Na 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 na. Hey! Na 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 na. Huh! Yes, Jesus loves me. Woo woo! Yes, Jesus loves me. Woo woo! Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. Jesus loves me when I'm good, when I do the things I should. Jesus loves me when I'm bad, though it makes him very sad. Singing na 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 na. Hey! Na 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 na. Huh! Na 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 na. Hey! Na 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 na. Huh! Yes, Jesus loves me. Woo woo! Yes, Jesus loves me. Woo woo! Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. Yes, Jesus loves me. Woo woo! Yes, Jesus loves me. Woo woo! Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. Woo! Way to go, guys.
Nice.
Okay, now we're going to be doing one called With Jesus in Your Boat. And there's a lot of moves for this, so we'll kind of go over them before we get started. Okay, so with Jesus in your boat, you can smile through the storm. Smile through the storm. Smile through the storm. With Jesus in your boat, you can smile through the storm when you're sailing home. Okay, so we're going to be doing this a few times, and every time we do it, we're going to take out a new word. So be paying attention. We'll probably tell you what word it is before we start. So, okay, ready?
Ready.
Okay. I hope I am. Okay. With Jesus in your boat, you can smile through the storm. Smile through the storm. Smile through the storm. With Jesus in your boat, you can smile through the storm when you're sailing home. Sailing, sailing home. Sailing, sailing home. With Jesus in your boat, you can smile through the storm when you're sailing home. Okay, now, the first time through, taking a word out, we're going to take out Jesus. But we still have to do the motions. Okay. All right, ready? With in your boat, you can smile through the storm. Smile through the storm. Smile through the storm. With in your boat, you can smile through the storm when you're sailing home. Sailing, sailing home. Sailing, sailing home. With in your boat, you can smile through the storm when you're sailing home. Okay, now we're going to take out the word Jesus and the word boat. So get ready. With in your, you can smile through the storm. Smile through the storm. Smile through the storm. With in your, you can smile through the storm when you're sailing home. Sailing, sailing home. Sailing, sailing home. With in your, you can through the storm when you're sailing home. Okay, Roberto, we're gonna take out Jesus, boat, and smiling. So, y'all ready?
Ready.
No.
In your, you can through the storm, through the storm, through the storm. With in your, you can through the storm when you're sailing home. Sailing, sailing home. Sailing, sailing home. With in your, you can through the storm when you're sailing home. All right, we've got Jesus, we've got boat, smiling, and now rain.
Storm.
Storm. And we're going to go instead of saying storm. Yeah, thank you. Okay, within your, you can through the through the through the within your, you can through the when you're sailing home. Oh yeah, sailing home, sailing home. Within your, you can through the when you're sailing home. Okay, now we're gonna take out sailing. Ready? Within your, you can through the through the within your, you can through the when you're home. Home within your, you can through the when you're home. Okay, now we're taking out home.
Last
Ready?
Last time.
Within your, you can through the through the within your, you can through the within your. Within your, you can through the when you're.
Hey, I only messed up 1,000 times.
Okay,
Oh, that was fun.
now we are moving on to fruit of the spirit. So, Mr. Roberto is going to hold up our fruits, and we will do the motions and sing. So, real quick, when we say coconut, we're gonna go. Banana is banana. Woo. Watermelon is watermelon. Lemon is make a sour face. Lemon. Okay. Cherries is cherry. And grapes is grapes.
We're
Okay.
a big bunch.
Because we're a big bunch. Okay. Whew.
All right, we'll get these all together.
Okay. Yeah, and then we'll do the hand jive for the fruit, for the spirit, actual ones. Okay. The fruit of the spirit's not a coconut. Fruit of the spirit's not a coconut. If you want to be a coconut, you might as well hear it, 'cause you can't be a fruit of the spirit, 'cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. The fruit of the spirit's not a banana. The fruit of the spirit's not a banana. If you want to be a banana, you might as well hear it, 'cause you can't be a fruit of the spirit, 'cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Fruit of the spirit's not a watermelon. The fruit of the spirit's not a watermelon. You want to be a watermelon, you might as well hear it, 'cause you can't be a fruit of the spirit, 'cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. The fruit of the spirit's not a lemon. The fruit of the spirit's not a lemon. You want to be a lemon, you might as well hear it, 'cause you can't be a fruit of the spirit, 'cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Fruit of the spirit's not a cherry. The fruit of the spirit's not a cherry. If you want to be a cherry, you might as well hear it, 'cause you can't be a fruit of the spirit, 'cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. The fruit of the spirit's not grapes. The fruit of the spirit's not grapes. You want to be grapes, you might as well hear it, 'cause you can't be a fruit of the spirit, 'cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. All right. Thanks for coming. Bye.
And it's memory verse time. So let's go through our memory verse. Let's just say it together from the beginning. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. John 10:10. Now this time, we're going to put some motions with it. So let me tell you what we're going to do for all the different words, and then we're going to do it together. For the word thief, we're going to take our hands and we're going to be a thief. So the thief comes only to, and then you're going to take it away, steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. John 10:10. Now you try it with us this time, doing the motions and the memory verse. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. John 10:10. Y'all keep practicing your memory verse. See you later.
Hey guys and girls, it's me again, it's Teek, and I'm here to do the Bible story with you today for P3 Live, Live Abundant. It's so good to be back with you today. I'm excited about this story, though it has a lot of ups and downs. Remember, our memory verse for this whole series is John 10:10, and talks about this thief comes to steal and kill and destroy. We don't want any part of the thief. We want to stay away from the thief. But then it says that it's not just the thief in the world, there's also Jesus. And Jesus comes to give us life and life abundant. So our whole theme this week has been to live abundant and what that looks like. The last time I was with you, I got to talk about Mary and Martha and how they lived abundantly through listening and serving, and that we're supposed to do that also. And I hope that you've been doing that. I hope that you've been looking for those opportunities to read the Bible, to pray, to listen to Jesus, but also turning around and serving Jesus also. Helping around the house, helping in the yard, helping in your community, finding ways to serve others, and as a result, serving Jesus also. Today our story follows a guy named Peter. He's also referred to as Simon. He goes by either name in Scripture, and so if I say Simon, you'll know I'm talking about Peter. He's one of the disciples that Jesus calls, and man, he has a lot of ups and downs in his life as he follows Jesus. There's times where he's right on and Jesus will ask a question and Simon just nails it. Like he knows the answer. He's like the kid at the front of the class who when the teacher says, what's 2 + 2? His hand's up and he says 4 without a doubt. He knows the answer. But then he also has times where he messes up horribly and where he does things so bad that Jesus basically puts him in a corner, if we want to put it in stories, and like time out and things like that. So we're going to look today at how Peter has some ups and downs, but also what it tells us about how we should live abundantly. We're going to have several passages to read today. The first one's in John chapter 13, verses 36 through 38. I'm going to read it, but go ahead and get your Bible also. Open up John chapter 13, and we're going to read verse 36 to 38. Just like last time, I'm reading out the New International Reader's Version, so it might be a little different than your translation at home, or it might be the exact same. Verse 36 of John 13 says, Simon Peter asked him, Lord, where are you going? Jesus replied, where I am going, you cannot follow, but you will follow me later. Lord, Peter asked, why can't I follow you now? I will give my life for you. Then Jesus answered, will you really give your life for me? What I'm about to tell you is true. Before the rooster crows, you will say 3 times that you don't know me. Jesus is walking with his disciples, and this is in the final days of Jesus' life. And he tells his disciples that he's going somewhere. And the disciples want to know where it is because Jesus says that they can't go with him. They want to know because they've been following him for 3 years now. Why stop now? And so when he says you can't follow, Peter says, well, where are you going? And Jesus says, you can't go with me now, but later you'll get to. What Peter doesn't understand is that Jesus is talking about his death. That Peter can't follow him in death until Jesus has conquered death. We just celebrated Easter a couple months ago. We talked about how Jesus conquers death by dying and rising again, and the tomb is empty, and we're excited about that. We're going to hear a story this week that talks about an empty tomb, and so we're excited about that, but Jesus hasn't done that yet in this story. So he says, Peter, you can't follow me right yet, but one day you'll be able to. One day you'll be able to die just as Jesus would die, and you'll be able to live after that, just like Jesus did. Peter is still confused, and he says, well, Jesus, if we don't know where you're going, we want to follow you, we want to be there. I would give my life for you. And Jesus knows what's going to happen. He looks forward and he knows what Peter's going to do. And he said, Peter, what you're saying is a very brave statement. What you're saying is very noble and honorable that you will die for me. But I want to tell you something, Peter. Before the rooster crows, and when does a rooster crow? In the morning. So before the morning happens, he says, Peter, you're going to deny me 3 times. You're going to say you don't know me 3 times. Peter must be shocked by this. He must be surprised and worried and nervous because he just said, I'll die for you. And then Jesus says, by morning, you'll have said you don't even know me 3 times. Let's jump over to John chapter 18, verses 15 through 27. Let's see how this story plays out. Verse 15 of John 18 says, Simon Peter and another disciple were following Jesus. The high priest knew the other disciple, so that disciple went with Jesus into the high priest's courtyard. But Peter had to wait outside by the door. The other disciple came back. He was the one the high priest knew. He spoke to the servant woman who was on duty there, and then they brought Peter in. She asked Peter, you aren't one of Jesus' disciples too, are you? I am not, Peter replied. Jesus told him, said 3 times, you're going to deny me. You're going to say you don't know me. There's number 1. Verse 18, it was cold. The slaves and officials stood around a fire. They had made it to keep warm. Peter was also standing with them. He was warming himself. Meanwhile, the high priest questioned Jesus. He asked him about his disciples and his teaching. I have spoken openly to the world, Jesus replied. I always taught in the synagogues or at the temple, where all the Jews come together. I didn't say anything in secret. Why question me? Ask the people who heard me. They certainly know what I said. When Jesus said that, one of the officials nearby slapped him in the face. Is this any way to answer the high priest? He asked. Have I said something wrong? Jesus replied. If I have, then tell everyone what it was. But if I spoke the truth, why did you hit me? Annas sent him, tied up, to Caiaphas, the high priest. Meanwhile, Simon Peter was still standing there warming himself by the fire. So they asked him, you aren't one of Jesus' disciples too, are you? Peter said, I am not. 2 times now. It's the night Jesus has been arrested. Twice Peter has been asked, are you a follower of Jesus? Are you a disciple of Jesus? And 2 times he said, no, I don't know him. Verse 26, one of the high priest's slaves was a relative of the man whose ear Peter had cut off. He said to Peter, didn't I see you with Jesus in the garden? Again, Peter said, no. 3, that's the 3rd time in one night that Peter has denied knowing Jesus. At that exact moment, a rooster began to crow. So that's 3 times Jesus had told Peter, said, you say you'll give your life for me, but I promise you, you're gonna deny me. You're gonna say you don't even know me 3 times in just this night. And sure enough, Jesus said, when the rooster crows, you'll deny me 3 times. As soon as Peter said the 3rd time, I do not know him, the rooster crowed. And I bet Peter heard that rooster, and he knew immediately in his heart what Jesus had said. He remembered that he had offered to lay down his life, to give up his own life. At one point, Peter had even taken out his sword and tried to fight for Jesus, and it actually cut off someone's ear. But Jesus said, no, that's not what my kingdom's about. And he healed the person. He put the ear back on him. So Peter was willing to fight for Jesus. But Jesus said 3 times you're going to say you don't know me. And sure enough, 3 times it happened. And then after this, Jesus is killed on the cross. But he conquers death, and the tomb is empty on Easter Sunday, on Resurrection Sunday, which gives us that hope of abundant life. But Peter apparently is still living with this memory, with this pain and this hurt of knowing that the person he was probably the closest to in the world, Jesus, that he denied knowing him 3 times. That he let Jesus down at the moment when Jesus probably needed him the most. And so Jesus had died and Jesus rose again, and Peter was probably super excited about that, but he still had in his heart the pain of that memory. And it just so happens, the passage we're going to look at next in John 21, verse 1 through 19, Peter isn't doing what he's always said he would do. He's not following Jesus. He's not sharing the good news like he's supposed to. He's not being a disciple. He's gone back to fishing, what he had previously done in his life. So John chapter 21 is a little bit longer, verses 1 through 19. It says, after this, Jesus appeared to his disciples again. It was by the Sea of Galilee. Here is what happened. Simon Peter and Thomas, who was also called Didymus, were there together. Nathanael from Cana in Galilee and the sons of Zebedee were with them. These are all disciples. There were 2 other disciples. So were 2 other disciples. I'm going out to fish, Simon Peter told them. They said, we'll go with you. So they went out and got into the boat. That night, all the fishing they did, they didn't catch anything. Early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore. But the disciples did not realize that it was Jesus. Jesus called out to them, friends, do you have any fish? No, they answered. He said, throw your net on the right side of the boat. There you will find some fish. Pause there for a second. The disciples were fishermen originally. Like that's what they've been trained to do before they became disciples and followed Jesus. And so I think they knew a lot about fishing. They knew how to fish and catch fish. But this one night they go out fishing and they catch nothing. And it just so happens as morning comes, as maybe the rooster crows, they see a man on shore. They don't see that it's Jesus. They don't know that it's Jesus. But the man waves at them and yells across the water and says, hey, did you catch anything? Can you imagine how embarrassed all of them were? No, we've been fishing all night long and we've caught nothing. So they send back the one-word reply to the man, no. They were embarrassed. They were ashamed. They'd caught nothing. And then to make things worse, this man gives them advice. He yells back across the water from the beach and he says, hey, throw your net out on the other side of the boat. Surely you'll catch fish there. Can you imagine how annoyed they might be? Think about the thing you're best at. Maybe it's coloring. Maybe it's building cars. Maybe it's building stuff out of wood. Think about what you're best at. Now imagine a person you don't even know comes up and tells you how to do what you already know how to do. And they think they can tell you how to do it better. I bet the disciples were pretty annoyed. But they did it anyway. They made the guy happy and they threw the nets over. And it says, when they did, they could not pull the net into the boat. There were too many fish in it. Then the disciple Jesus loved said to Simon Peter, it is the Lord. As soon as Peter heard that, he put his coat on. He had taken it off earlier. Then he jumped into the water. The other disciples followed in the boat. They were towing the net full of fish. The shore was only about 100 yards away. When they landed, they saw a fire of burning coals. There were fish on it. There was also some bread. I want you to think about that for just a second. Think about this thing that happens. When they realize that it's Jesus, it's because of what they've just caught. It's because they've just caught all this stuff and they know immediately that it's Jesus. And Peter wants so bad to get to Jesus that for some reason he grabs his coat and he puts it on and jumps into the water and starts swimming for shore. He probably still has this ache in his heart, this pain in his heart from knowing he denied Jesus 3 times. He said he didn't even know him in Jesus' moments of need. But he still wants to be with Jesus, wants to be around him. So he dives in the water and he starts swimming for shore. Leaves the other disciples to have to row the boat in, pulling this huge net full of fish. But he gets up there. And it says when they get on shore, there's a campfire waiting. There's food waiting. Jesus said to them, verse 10, Jesus said to them, bring some of the fish you have just caught. So Simon Peter climbed back into the boat. He dragged the net to shore. It was full of large fish. There were 153 of them. They hadn't caught anything all night. They throw the net where Jesus tells them to throw it, and they catch 153 fish. But even with that many fish, the net was not torn. Jesus said to them, "Come and have breakfast." None of the disciples dared to ask him, "Who are you?" They knew it was the Lord. Jesus came, took the bread, and gave it to them. He did the same thing with the fish. This was the third time Jesus appeared to his disciples after he was raised from the dead. Verse 15. When Jesus and the disciples had finished eating, Jesus spoke to Simon Peter. He asked, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these others do?" "Yes, Lord," he answered. "You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." Again, Jesus asked, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I do." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." Jesus spoke to him a third time. He asked, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter felt bad because Jesus asked him a third time, "Do you love me?" He answered, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep." What I'm about to tell you is true. When you were younger, you dressed yourself. You went wherever you wanted to go. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands. Someone else will dress you. Someone else will lead you where you do not want to go. Jesus said this to point out how Peter would die. His death would bring glory to God. Then Jesus said to him, "Follow me." How many times did Jesus ask Peter, "Do you love me?" 3 times. How many times did Peter deny knowing Jesus previously? 3 times. It's almost like Jesus is reminding Peter of those 3 times that he denied him, but then he's showing that he's still an important part as a disciple in God's kingdom. There's still the opportunity for Peter to live abundant. Even though he messed up horribly, even though he he let Jesus down 3 different times, Jesus forgives him and loves him. And 3 times he says, "Now Peter, go and feed my sheep, tend my lambs, care for my lambs, take care of my sheep." Because Peter would go on to be one of the most important parts of Jesus' church in the future. Peter would go from this time where he goes from the lowest of low to the highest of high to being a disciple that when Jesus is gone, he helps spread the good news throughout the world. He becomes a preacher on Pentecost Sunday. He becomes the one who shares the good news with everyone around and explains to them about Jesus' death and resurrection. So as we go with this story today and we think about the 3 things that we can take away from this story, I think the first and most important thing is that we're all going to sin and we're all going to mess up. We're all going to have those times that we do just like Jesus, just like Peter, and we do things that Jesus doesn't want us to do, things that hurt Jesus. But there's always forgiveness, healing, and restoration in Jesus. All we have to do is to look to Jesus for forgiveness and to accept that forgiveness. But a lot of times, sometimes we think that we've done something so bad that Jesus can never forgive us. We think that there's no way that Jesus can continue to use us. But there's always redemption and restoration. Peter could have just gone back to fishing. He could have said, "Okay, I heard Jesus say, 'Forgive my sheep,' and he goes back to fishing for the rest of his life." But he didn't. He realized there was still a place in the body of Christ to serve because Jesus was still Jesus and Peter was still his disciple. And so he goes on to be one of the founding members of the early church. He goes on to be the one that unlocks the gospel and brings it to many, many people. And thousands of people follow Jesus because of Peter. And we're better knowing Peter's story today. The third thing is to live an abundant life means that we accept forgiveness when we mess up and we continue serving. We realize that no matter what we've done, we're not disqualified from serving Jesus. There is the need to ask for forgiveness, but then we keep on trucking along. We keep on serving and listening and doing what Jesus called us to do. Think of Mary and Martha again. Think of how Mary listened to Jesus. Martha and Peter would serve Jesus. Think about what that means for your life. How are you going to live abundantly this week and next week and the rest of the summer by accepting forgiveness and living out this service life of Jesus. Love you guys. See you later.
So another really fun way that we can practice our memory verse together as a family is to have an ice cream sundae night. How are we going to do that? Well, I'm going to tell you. All right. So what we're going to do, gather your ingredients for an ice cream sundae. Look at all these goodies, and the possibilities are endless of what you can put on this sundae. But what we're going to do is you're going to go around your table as a family. You're going to say the memory verse. And then every time you say the memory verse, you earn another item. So if I say the memory verse once, I get a bowl. If I say the memory verse twice, I get a spoon. If I say it 3 times, I add ice cream. And then you just keep on saying your memory verse and adding things to your sundae. And so we're going to show you how it's done, and we're going to have fun. All right?
So the first time to get your ice cream, here's the first one. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. John 10:10.
So Jenny's earned her ice cream. All right. So I'm going to try to earn this.
You can put it in a bowl, or you can eat it from the container, whichever you would like.
It's your family's night. All right. So let's see if I can open up this lid. The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. John 10:10.
All right, let's see. Next time. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. John 10:10.
Woo! Add your topping. All right, I think I might go for syrup too. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. John 10:10.
This is gonna be
some M&Ms.
Woo! Melty and fun. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. John 10:10. Woo!
All right, now I'm gonna earn a spoon because I guess I need that. So we'll see. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. John 10:10.
All right. Let's see. Oh, we got to have a cherry. You can't have an ice cream sundae without a cherry. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. John 10:10.
Nice.
There.
The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. John 10:10.
Now I'm going to have my spoon here.
That's one item.
Looky there. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. John 10:10. I have to keep it from tripping over the side.
You put down some napkins, keep some hand available, hand sanitizer, all the good stuff. I'm going to do one more, and I think we might be good to eat.
Mm-hmm.
The thief only comes to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. John 10:10. I'll add some caramel.
And I'll do my last one, and then we'll have the taste of that sundae.
You ready?
The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. John 10:10. All right.
Ooh.
Here it comes. Pretty good.
And we learned.
John 10:10. So enjoy your family sundae as you practice the memory verse. See you later.
Bye.
Hey, this is Chef Jan again. We're back.
And I'm Chef Judy.
Hi.
Ready to continue. We're going to make frozen watermelon push pops for your fisherman that you are learning about in the story today. I hope you remember his name.
All right, here we go. To make these push pops, we're going to need 2 kiwi fruits, kiwi, and a thick round slice of watermelon, and we need these little push pop containers to put them in. Okay, so first we peel the kiwi.
Peel the kiwi. Here we are.
And make some little slices.
Okay.
And then we're going to put the kiwi in the bottom of the container.
Did that.
And then the fun part is taking the container and pushing it into the watermelon slice.
Yay!
And it fills it up.
Looky here.
And then if it's too thin, just add a little bit more, but that was perfect. You did such a great job.
Thank you.
All right.
Experience.
Now we pop the lid on.
Pop the lid, maybe.
While you're popping the lid on, do you know the difference between a watermelon and an elephant?
No.
A watermelon's green.
Oh, it is.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. This is what it'll look like when you pop it on. Put it in the freezer. And leave it. I'd leave it overnight.
Yeah, it's got to get...
That's what I would do. Make it all frozen. And y'all know, just to add to our snack time, you can also freeze grapes, and they're very good frozen.
Yum, yum.
And then we're going to wait till tomorrow. Take it out. We're going to take the top off. You know, like you do a push-up that we buy at the grocery store?
Or you get at school.
Or you get at school. And we push it up. And look, we have our push-up.
Yummy.
Yay!
What's the best thing you can put your teeth into?
This watermelon.
That's right. Except, though, what's the best thing you can put into a freezer pop?
I don't know.
Your teeth.
All right.
All right. All right. I think that's the completion. And look how this looks. Cool, huh? You'll have a lot of fun doing that. And we'll be back tomorrow for one last cooking session with you. It's been so fun. So come back tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Another family game is to sit around the campfire and make s'mores. Don't forget that Jesus forgave Peter around the campfire. Now, I love s'mores.
Okay. Can you hand me a cracker, Ellie?
Sure. Oh.
Here you go.
Can I have a cracker?
Here's yours.
It's not mommy.
There you go, put it on.
When you're done making a s'more face, take a picture of your s'more face.
Now look at me and smile.